So I'm standing in front of the Cross Brand Arena. This thing was built by some good men and some good women and has literally seen thousands and thousands of people come through it every single year. We've had bucking stock down here. We've had cattle of all temperaments. And you know what? It is still standing. We have had winds. We have had rain. We have had, many of you remember Snowvid, right? And it's still standing. Isn't that amazing? When I look up, I completely trust this building. We have been here in high winds and I didn't get scared at all. You know, the reason why though? Probably this has a little bit to do with it. Not just this one, but if you'll go all around the arena and in the pins, it's the foundation. These guys that were doing this, these guys that put the beams up, the guys that came in with the concrete, they just did it right. Meaning, because they did it right, because they built a proper foundation, I'm able to come in here without chaos and without freaking out and without confusion when the weather gets a little bad. There is so much that I could say about right foundations, but you know what? Let me just tell you what he's supposed to be the wisest man in the world, and I guess probably he was. And his nuggets of wisdom are amazing. But it's interesting that the closer he got to the end of his life, the more genuine and real he started getting about the messiness of life. So in Psalm 127:1, one of my favorite verses that I've ever read says this, and it was from Solomon. He said, unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor over it in vain. What's that got to do? Well, let me give you the bottom line on this, right? Solomon at one time, he included the Lord. He included the Lord in his family, in his leadership, in his, every aspect of his life at one time, Solomon included the Lord. What happens? Well, it's like a lot of folks. He began to just let the Lord inch ease out of his life. And as a result of that, folks, I'm telling you, when you look at his leadership, his business, his family, his marriage, his commitment to God, oh my gosh, it got bad. It got really bad. The key was foundations. He let his foundation not be the Lord. So let me ask you a question. How do we know when something's wrong with our foundation? How do we know if something is wrong here? Well, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be destruction. There's going to be just this empty, void life. No peace. Just think about it. I can remember at one time, many of you have heard my testimony before. A testimony, that's a big old word, but it just means my story. I grew up in church, but my foundation wasn't Jesus. And it wasn't until a few years later I realized, you know what? The reason I've got so much chaos in my life, the reason I feel so empty all the time, the reason I can be in a crowd of people and still be lonely is I didn't have the Lord. I didn't have Jesus. The bottom line, folks, I don't know where you're at, and I'm not trying to sound judgy or anything like that, is your life is a lot like this arena. My life is a lot like this arena. Whether or not we can trust those beams has a lot to do with foundations, trust. Who are we the most connected to in our life? What are we trusting, man? Listen, if you've never had that one time on purpose, on your own, conversation with Jesus Christ, there's a good chance that you're living in some chaos. You're living in some emptiness. You're living without peace. And see, Jesus ain't mad at you. Jesus don't want your life to fall apart. He wants so badly that he gave his life on the cross for our messiness. That's called sin. Bottom line, Jesus loves you. What's your foundation? God bless you.